point?
It's an honor. It's definitely an honor to come back home. Everybody will eventually come back home, whether if it's going to space or whether if it's going to the market. You will come back home eventually. So I'm very honored to be back home. Come here to visit my family from the US. So extremely excited, very happy, and just another day, I guess.
Like you have created history being in the space. If you could just express how was the experience there being in space for several hours, how was it?
So one of the things with New Shepard NS-25 is that it's a fully autonomous vehicle. It's a fully autonomous vehicle, and it's also a very short flight. It's not like you go and spend days in space. It's a very short tourism-driven journey where there's not much input from the individuals who are on the actual spacecraft. But the real, I guess, to answer your question, the real wow factor is when you look back. Is when you look back and you realize the beauty of the pale blue dot. It's the majestic blue ball, if you want to call it. But it's when you look back and you see it, then it puts things into perspective for you, and that's what it did for me. It put things into perspective, and it gives you a different view on how you go day to day, is what I think. So it was absolutely amazing. There's no words to describe how that feeling is, but it's a feeling, and I think it's a feeling that every Indian should, at some point in their life, experience, is what I think. So yeah.
And that's what the mission is, as we talked earlier also, to have adventure outside the planet to save Mother Earth. That's what the mission
That's correct. So Blue Origin's mission, Jeff Bezos' mission, is millions and millions of people living and working in space for the benefit of Earth. So the more people we can send to space, the more we can explore space, you will be able to save the one planet that we have, because then people will move from here and then go to the next and onwards and onwards. So.
As you also expressed earlier, you wanted to do the reverse. Instead of seeing up, you wanted to see down.
Yeah, you remember this from a long time ago, yes. So I guess it's one way of saying that, like I said, we wake up every day and then we look up, or you come out of your bedroom, or you look out the window, like I was explaining to you many months ago. It would be nice to not look up and look back down, and that's what I did. And the first time, to answer your question, the first time I actually looked back, it was it's something you can't take your eyes off. It's like you see something very fascinating and you go back to see what it is. So that's what the experience was. But it's just such a vast, beautiful ball. It is a ball. It's something undescribable. So it's something absolutely mesmerizing.
So how do you see, do you have any future missions that you think you'll be part of?
Would love to. So once, I guess, people have tasted space, they'll always want to look back at space, and definitely more exploration to space is always in people who we get inspired by to try to push the limits and boundaries. So yeah.
What would you like to add about the space tourism?
So in terms of Blue Origin, Virgin Galactic, SpaceX, Axiom, all these companies, mainly on the other side, who are pushing for space tourism, it is definitely something that is happening now more than ever. It is something that will happen very frequently if you're just talking about Blue Origin. But actually, if you just saw yesterday, they announced their next human flight, and their next human flight is happening on August 29th. So, and it's only been 3 months since I went up there. So it's 3 months less than what it was before, right? So it's happening, and their mission is to fly every week. So when will it happen? I'm not going to say it's going to be 50 years, but I'm not going to say it's going to be 1 year. It's going to be, I guess, in the next decade is what I would estimate it, for them to get very, very comfortable in flying people every 7 days to space, just as one organization. And then you have this multiple other organizations around the world who are also achieving the same thing. But yeah.
On 23rd, India celebrated its first
National Space Day. Yes, National Space Day was true. I think it's something we as Indians are proud of, for what ISRO had accomplished earlier, for what Captain Rakesh Sharma had accomplished, for what all the Indian origin individuals who have gone to space have accomplished, from Kalpana Chawla to Sunita Williams, and etc., etc. But I think that having a National Space Day will give the next generation and students an opportunity to know that yes, there is something like space, and maybe I can do something with that space. We have a National Teachers Day, we have a Children's Day, we have all these days, but now National Space Day, I think, like you said, will start to to push people to think about space, and I think that's what's important. So.